The person who smiles the most in your life might be the one suffering in ways you cannot even imagine. And the worst part is, you have probably been trained to never question it. Because we have been taught that a smile means happiness, safety, everything is fine. But what if I told you that the brightest smile in the room is often the most carefully constructed lie? This is not about politeness. This is not about being friendly at work or putting on a brave face once in a while. This is about something far more disturbing. A psychological defense mechanism so powerful that the person doing it often does not even realize they are doing it. And once you see it, you will never look at a smile the same way again. It is called reaction formation. Sigmund Freud identified it as one of the ego's most insidious defense mechanisms. The mind takes an unbearable feeling, something so painful or unacceptable that acknowledging it would shatter you, and it flips it. Completely. You do not just hide the pain, you broadcast the opposite. The person drowning in sadness becomes the life of the party. The one seething with rage becomes excessively gentle, and the one contemplating escape becomes the person who cannot stop smiling. Because if they stop, even for a second, the truth might slip through. And they have built their entire identity on making sure that never happens. You have seen this. Think about the coworker who is always cheerful. The friend who never complains, who is always there for everyone else, whose default expression is a grin. Ask yourself, when was the last time they let that mask slip? When was the last time you saw them genuinely vulnerable, genuinely struggling, genuinely anything other than fine? The answer is probably never. And that is not strength, that is a red flag. Because real emotional health includes the full spectrum: sadness, frustration, anger, exhaustion. When someone only ever shows you one emotional note, especially happiness, they are not balanced, they are performing. And the performance is not for you, it is for them. Psychologist Ali Hochschild coined the term emotional labor to describe the exhausting work of managing your feelings to meet external expectations. Service workers, flight attendants, nurses, they are paid to smile even when they are treated terribly. But some people do this for free. They do it in their marriages, their friendships, their families. They smile because they have learned that their real emotions are too much, too inconvenient, too threatening. Here is where it gets darker. Chronic over-smiling is not just about hiding pain, it is also a tool of control. If you are always the happy one, people stop asking if you are okay. They stop checking in. They stop offering help. You become the helper, the rock, the one who has it all together. And that isolation, that lack of reciprocal care, it deepens the wound you are already trying to hide. You are also controlling how others feel around you. A smile is disarming. It tells people there is no threat, no problem, nothing to worry about. It makes you safe to be around. But it also makes you invisible. Because no one looks closely at the person who seems fine. And if you have been hurt enough, invisibility starts to feel like safety. Trauma researchers have documented something called the dissociative smile. It appears in people who have experienced chronic emotional neglect or abuse. The smile becomes automatic, reflexive, disconnected from any actual feeling. It is the face you make when your mind has left your body. When you are so far removed from your own emotions that you do not even know what you actually feel anymore. If you grew up in a household where your sadness was punished, where crying made things worse, where you learned that your pain inconvenienced the people who were supposed to care for you, you adapted. You learned to smile through it. And that adaptation does not just disappear when you grow up. It calcifies. It becomes who you are. Now here is the question that is probably crawling under your skin right now. Do you do this? Have you been smiling your way through your own collapse? Think about the last time someone asked how you are. Did you smile and say fine, even though you were not? Did it feel automatic, like you did not even have a choice? That automaticity is the warning sign. When the smile happens before you even register what you feel, when it is your default response to any emotional discomfort, you are not expressing happiness, you are suppressing everything else. And suppression has a cost. The research is clear. Chronic emotional suppression correlates with anxiety disorders, depression, even physical illness. Your body keeps the score, even when your face lies. But it is not just about you. The people in your life who smile too much, who never let you see them struggle, They are sending you a message, not with their smile, but with the wall it represents. They are telling you, without words, that they do not trust you with their darkness. Maybe because you have not earned it, or maybe because no one ever has. And here is the manipulation buried in it. When someone is always happy, always positive, always smiling, they set a standard. You start to feel guilty for bringing your problems to them. You start to edit yourself around them. You become complicit in their performance, because breaking character on either side feels like a betrayal. That is not intimacy. That is a transaction. Psychologist Paul Ekman spent decades studying facial expressions and identified what he called leakage. Micro-expressions that flash across the face for a fraction of a second before the controlled expression takes over. If you watch closely, you can catch them. The tightness around the eyes that does not match the smile, the brief downturn of the mouth before it lifts, the delay between the smile and the eyes crinkling. A genuine smile, what Ekman calls a Duchenne smile, involves the orbicularis oculi muscle. The eyes crinkle, the whole face participates. A fake smile only moves the mouth, the eyes stay dead. And once you learn to spot the difference, you will see it everywhere. In your family photos, in your video calls, in the mirror. Now we arrive at the turn. The part you have been dreading. Because if the brightest smiles hide the darkest thoughts, what thoughts are we talking about? What is actually behind the mask? For some, it is suicidal ideation. The statistics are haunting. People who complete suicide are often described by those around them as seeming fine, even happy, in the days before. They smiled, they laughed, they gave no warning. That is because the decision brought them relief. The unbearable tension of staying alive was resolved. They could finally stop performing, and in that final performance they smiled bigger than ever, because they knew it was almost over. The smile was not happiness, it was goodbye, and no one recognized it until it was too late. For others, the darkness is not self-directed, it is outward, rage that has been compressed for so long it has turned cold and calculating. The person who smiles through every insult, every boundary violation, every humiliation, they are not letting it go. They are keeping score, and one day the smile will drop, and when it does, the explosion will be proportional to the years of suppression. This is not an exaggeration. Case studies of workplace violence, domestic homicides, and mass casualty events frequently describe the perpetrator as someone who was always so nice, so friendly, always smiling, because the smile was the lid on the volcano. And everyone mistook the lid for the absence of a volcano. So what do you do with this information? How do you navigate a world where smiles lie? First, you stop taking them at face value. You start asking the second question. Not just how are you, but really how are you? And you wait. You make space for the real answer. You prove that you can handle something other than fine. Second, you examine your own smile. When does it show up? What is it protecting you from? What would happen if you let it fall? The goal is not to never smile. The goal is to make sure your smile is a choice, not a reflex. That it expresses something real, not just the absence of permission to feel anything else. Third, you accept that some people are not ready to drop the mask, and pushing them before they are ready does not help. It just makes them hold on tighter. All you can do is be the kind of person who is safe to be real around, who does not punish vulnerability, who does not require performance. The people who smile the most are often the ones holding the most pain. Not always, but often enough that you should pay attention. Because the smile is not the message. The smile is the signal that there is a message they cannot say out loud. And if you care about them, your job is not to believe the smile. Your job is to see the person beneath it. You now know what most people will never notice, that the brightest smile can be the most desperate cry for help. That happiness performed is suffering prolonged. That the person who never lets you in is the person who needs connection the most. Use that knowledge carefully, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And the smiles around you will never look the same again. The question you opened this video with was whether the person smiling at you is hiding something dark. The answer is maybe. But the more important question is this: are you hiding behind your own smile? And what would it cost you to finally let it drop?